Yeah, I know it's crazy doing 2 non-Steven Universe theories in a row, but I just really want to talk about this one. I really want to get it out there. Back when I reviewed the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, I mentioned in that review that I had an interesting theory that I was kind of noodling on, that the movie had inspired me to create. In the end, it sort of turned into a few different micro theories, none of which were really long enough to have their own video dedicated to them. So this is going to be sort of a collective of concepts all rolled together. Though if I were to state a thesis for this video, I suppose it would have to be that I think that just as much as it was trying to entertain us, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie was trying to shore up Dragon Ball canon and also lay the groundwork for some additional canonical elements which are going to be explored in future plotlines. And I'm not just talking something along the lines of them completely revamping the backstory of Goku's father Bardock, keeping only the bare bones of his story and throwing the rest out. I'm talking something way more significant than that. And I'm sure anyone who's familiar with what the movie was about, or who the character of Broly is, or some combination of the two, will find it pretty self-evident that the movie was trying to shore up canon. Broly started out his existence as a non-canon character introduced in one of the non-canon movies, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan. This was a very different Broly, but that Broly didn't technically exist within the canon of the show, despite interacting with all the main characters, whereas this Broly does. Obviously, the character of Broly was super popular, and they wanted to roll him into the actual continuity of the show, right? And while, yeah, that's obviously part of it, I think that it was truly about so much more. To explain what I mean, let's talk very, very briefly and summarize very, very briefly something that's been going around ever since the new Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue transformations for the main characters Goku and Vegeta were introduced. Something called the Super Saiyan color theory, which, put into simplest terms, theorizes that there are different versions of the Super Saiyan state represented by different colored auras. This theory became pretty popular for a while. I don't think it ever actually died down much at all. And it was renewed in force when the concept of the legendary Super Saiyan was made canon through the alternate universe character Kale, who we met properly in the Tournament of Power arc. Kale was effectively a gender swap of Broly from another universe. And while her existence didn't confirm that there was a legendary Super Saiyan in our universe, the fact that the principles behind the Super Saiyan transformation in our universe helped Super Saiyan characters from that universe to transform did create a bridge between the two realities and the way the transformations function in each. And I'm sure you've noticed from the images that I've no doubt included in this video up to this point, hopefully, in contrast to the red Super Saiyan God form and the blue Super Saiyan Blue form, the legendary Super Saiyan form has a green aura. Couple that with the odd white and blue flame aura of what I think we're still calling Super Saiyan Rage form Trunks introduced in the Future Trunks arc, and the silvery aura of Goku's Ultra Instinct transformation, which, while not a Super Saiyan transformation, does use the same mechanism as the Super Saiyan transformation, much like Gohan's Ultimate form transformation. Not to mention, of course, the original Golden Super Saiyan forms. And we now have 4 actual Super Saiyan forms which come in different colors, and 2 other forms which seem to operate on the same mechanic, which come in an additional 2 colors. It therefore seems, at first glance, as if the Broly movie is offering more evidence in favor of this theory. But I don't think that's the case. I actually think that the movie kind of disproved it. Maybe on purpose, maybe by accident, by introducing a competing theory. One which even excludes Super Saiyan God as a Super Saiyan form if you look at it in a specific way. In fact, I think this goes really deep. I think this may be a retcon which affects the entire franchise up to this point. I think that, in effect, this movie may have retconned the entire franchise in order to set up a future story arc which involves Broly's character. After all, the movie proved that it is not above affecting the canonicity of Super Saiyan forms when it effectively declared the Super Saiyan 4 transformation introduced in the non-canon Dragon Ball GT, not only firmly non-canon within the canon continuity, but also impossible within the canon continuity, by introducing us to Dragon Ball Super's own version of the form. Before Broly ever goes Super Saiyan in the Broly movie, he does achieve a power-up which puts him on par with our heroes. Despite not being a Super Saiyan, he is suddenly able to keep up with Super Saiyans. And the way that he is able to do this is described as him tapping into the Saiyan's great ape form and drawing upon his strength without actually transforming into a giant ape, and therefore keeping his smaller, more nimble body. This is effectively how the Super Saiyan 4 transformation was achieved in Dragon Ball GT. It is true that in order to become a Super Saiyan 4, you had to be a Super Saiyan while also drawing upon that great ape power. But considering that Broly was strong enough to become a Super Saiyan already, and also turned Super Saiyan while drawing on that power without becoming a Super Saiyan 4, I think proves pretty definitively that Super Saiyan 4 does not and cannot exist within the canon continuity of Dragon Ball. And if the movie is willing to make this definitive a statement about something which a lot of fans still enjoyed about Dragon Ball GT, whether it was canon or not, I don't think it's above making equally definitive statements about Super Saiyan overall. To explain what I mean, I have to point out that all throughout the Broly movie, something interesting was shown to happen. The art style of the movie wasn't super noticeably different from the art style of the show that it's spinning off from, but it was different. It was upgraded. It was of a higher quality than the animation that we got in Dragon Ball Super proper. This upgrade in art style and quality gave the animators a chance to really show off the various Saiyan transformations almost as if for the first time. And they looked spectacular. What was interesting, though, was that multiple times throughout the movie, when characters transform into Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue, before their auras turn gold or blue respectively, we see sparks of green in their auras, and their hair actually transforms into a sort of greenish color. Considering that Super Saiyan Blue is effectively the same transformation as the base Super Saiyan transformation, just applied in a different way, this shows us pretty definitively, I think, that this movie is trying to establish that the base Super Saiyan form, and likely all forms which stemmed from it, draw upon the same sort of energy as the legendary Super Saiyan form, just not to the same degree. And yeah, it's been implied within the canon for a long time that all Saiyans capable of becoming Super Saiyans get that power from some genetics passed down by the original legendary Super Saiyan, the character that Vegeta mentions back during the Frieza saga when he first thinks that Goku might be on the verge of achieving that form. But again, as I said before, up until the reveal of Kale and then canon Broly, we had no reason in the canon of the show to assume that the original Super Saiyan wasn't just a regular gold-haired Super Saiyan. Now we have reason to believe that. It's super interesting. It creates this direct connection between the Super Saiyans we've known up to this point and the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who, unlike his non-canon counterpart, isn't just some mindless monster that they have to fight. He's an actual character with an actual personality who's sympathetic and seems to be building rapport with Goku. And he survives the movie, too, choosing to remain in touch with Goku after the fact. It's very possible that the show is setting up some story arc which will explore in more detail what Super Saiyan is and where it comes from. After all, once Goku masters Ultra Instinct, he's not really going to need Super Saiyan anymore, and Gohan has already said he's going to rely on power-ups that don't involve the Super Saiyan transformation. Exploring what Super Saiyan is might help those two characters to grow beyond it, while also helping the character of Vegeta to grow strong enough to contest with them, even though he doesn't have either the forms which give them their great strength. The series may even be building up to a reveal that any Saiyan, with the right training and understanding of the form and its origins, might be able to achieve something like the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. That may be Vegeta's big power-up, which puts him back on par with Goku, even in his Ultra Instinct form. After all, if the ki, the energy of a regular Super Saiyan, resembles a legendary Super Saiyan enough to resemble the transformation at all, shouldn't it be possible to cultivate that ki and turn the Super Saiyan transformation into something which more closely resembles its originator? It wouldn't, after all, be all that different from how Saiyans can apparently transform their ki into God ki in order to attain Super Saiyan God form. Something that we know that Vegeta was able to do despite, as far as we know, not undergoing the same ritual that Goku used to achieve it. If he can do that, then he should be able to cultivate energies found within his own body much more easily. And speaking of Super Saiyan God, I mentioned earlier that this movie brings into question whether or not it's a Super Saiyan transformation. If this movie is trying to create a connection between the legendary Super Saiyan's green energy and all Super Saiyan forms, then it's pretty telling that the Super Saiyan God transformations in this movie were conspicuously left without any hint of that green coloration. This does make sense though, as I mentioned before, the Super Saiyan God form uses God Ki, not Ki found within the person's own body. In short, I think that the Dragon Ball Super movie, Broly, is not just a game changer in terms of the quality of Dragon Ball movies and in terms of the inclusion of this one particularly popular non-canon character. I think it's a game changer for the entire franchise overall, and is going to prove to be the foundation of at least one story arc going forward. I don't quite know what that story arc might be yet, but some of the stuff that they're doing in the Dragon Ball Super manga right now, I think might be heading in the direction of proving me right. The manga isn't exactly entirely canon to the series. There are some differences between the two, but if we are going to get any more episodes of the Dragon Ball Super anime going forward, it's as likely as not that they will be adapted from that manga. I guess what I'm really trying to say with this video is that I find this to be a very exciting time to be a Dragon Ball fan, and I think you should too, assuming that you are. All of that said though, guys, what did you think of any of the ideas that I presented in this video, assuming that the members of my fan base can follow anything that I said here? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section down below, or over my Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.